years apart. Chris Walters is one of the people from other parts of town who sought me out individually to make confessions to me. And with people who did that to me and pretend I was tied to him and his ties to people that live around me and conversations with them. And with Old Town Cafe and spots that are original to the founding of America at the last of the 13 of the counter extorted positions within the more than 13 colonies, which is Weathersfield, Connecticut. So the Old Town Cafe has people with the name Bose, a family of people named Bose. I don't know. I never had a class with Charlie Bose. I don't know his sister's name. There's a girl who says a woman who says she's his sister, and she doesn't know me. And a Chris Walters is involved with the intelligence community and with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, and his co-defendants, planting evidences against me since I was a kid. And Chris Walters gave an affidavit was he was a kid. The Weathersfield police forced him to bring up, or whoever forced him to bring up the and with the Colol, one of the Colols involved with them, increasingly with child abusers. I never had a class with or went to school with Chris Walters in my life. When I was in eighth grade, they had him come, or it was I think eighth grade. They had him come in my science class when I was in middle school. I don't know if it was on the record or not because he went to the school next door. And my grandmother used to work, do laundry for that school next door, with private school, Corpus Christi. See, they've been spreading rumors about me and lies about me everywhere I went. There's a corner of Knott Street and Walcott Hill. A whole bunch of people who had conversations with Chris Walters involved with the intelligence community, involved with the World Trade Center attack, and with foreign and domestic families, overt criminal enterprises, and private ones. Chris Walters said he has roles with prostitution and sexual things with with the intelligence community next to Hartford Hospital, and it's connected to Central Connecticut State University. Justin Golvinskis and a Mark Violet also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed roles with that, and their roles with it on my street with predicate acts, planting evidences. Weathersfield police confessed the name Colol. They didn't give the whole name. This is after a Bob Chase already brought in. I haven't gotten on writing yet. There's a Phil Cololo involved with a principal child defender and with other natures of federal criminals in my area from other parts. I don't know where Phil Cololo lives. He was driving with a bike since it too. He's involved with. That's the first time I in my life on my street. I don't know if it was him in a car before I saw. I don't know. The only time I ever saw Marcus have a car in my life is involved with this. He's involved with a Bob Chase, planting evidence in my street, and with a principal child defender. I caught them forcing with other people more than there were other leaders of the kids and their family members involved. And that's also because they're silenced because I can't get one name and they're relying on the police and they're criminally foreign influence. They have something to do with the school resource officers, with wire crimes and methods, with the FBI and other agencies and their family members involved. Ones with the name Ian and names people with the name Perone and corners of streets and people with the name, I don't know the names of the people that live near them. And there was a former Mayor Gold that used to live on a corner, you know, along the same street or one adjacent or conjunctive to it. Use conjunction rather than adjacent. Is it greater than and more finite than its value while it has its value? Exceptions, exception nature that appear to show other only show the same thing in about while it's showing how it's making more of itself. The hyper simultaneous, the value of it. For example, to discern that which revealed the human species body the way it is and other species bodies with the same quality aspects in nature, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously slash hyper simultaneously. We need that additional scientific value, additional of a distinct identity of simultaneous nature. That's one of the things being a sequence nature is. It's a simultaneous nature. and where times, parts, individually grouped and together, are again bound by the hyper simultaneous. Prepare. Vaccines. Thank you. I forgot what I titled this video, so I'm going to keep it short. I have some, maybe these videos are long. They're very important. See, they bring up topics like hate speech, everyone's foreign. Before, when they were little kids, they had roles of predicate acts. The other was communicated that for them, for our founders to them, then our founders communicated to have communicated for them. Their forgiveness is to not blame them or to not allow them to lie about what they think about us. But they also have delusions that we have to fix. People with our campuses have delusions too. A whole bunch of people with the medical campuses, the best campuses even. You has roles with psychiatry, with the intelligence community, foreign and domestic military, involved planting evidences while tactically delusions rock, criminally foreign influence, and the difference of that also consciously used. If we look at what is hyper evidentially recorded, UConn has roles with names on off Hartford Hospital too, like Mark Violet, people with more than one person with the name Joe DeMauro, John DeMauro, Tony DeMauro, involved with corners of streets, corner street of Southstein Highway and Two Rod Highway, involved with judges and prosecutors, a senator even, recorded by Ray Hernandez. And I'm sorry, Ray, I'm having to do this because the former director of the FBI is coaching you guys with the courts, judges and prosecutors, and the dean judge and his family member involved. You guys, they forced Saudis to collusions with them with those predicate acts and confessions and requests to help for me that courts and the FBI and the military caused. It was with their roles with foreign military and leading up to the World Trade Center attack from Connecticut. These are the names that are involved with our side and with the other side's roles on the World Trade Center attack where no one wanted roles, including them because they killed themselves. So in other words, and they're keeping the religion's taught psychopath, leaving out the first parts of it, where it says the first parts of it said only right here is what matters. So you guys are letting the psychopaths read the books. The Old Testament says only right here with the names of the people of sciences come together is what you have to know and defend. You guys want to let people be fake and pretend other and defend the books out of sequence, and you want to have a nature of debate out of sequence. The book says only right there. The other book says the same thing, and it qualifies it. The Quran says a Muslim is not supposed to pray in the mosque for the slightest reason. It means if a woman doesn't want to wear a burqa or whatever, she doesn't have to. It means if she wants to, she could. See coronavirus. In other words, you guys want to make oh, look at how you did with that with slavery. You guys are playing a shell game, and you have the exceptions as collusions used to screen the foreign breaching method using that will cause slavery. Not our founders. And before our founders were born, North and South America was entrenched. Our founders had to hide their roles countering that. Son of a, we're going to get it done. Actually, it's fine. But so we have to be where and how the interbranch state collusions with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and with the exceptions, not as themselves, but tied to them, and all differences of that. Like, in other words, on off their state offices and the names at the locations conjunctive to that. Weathersfield Pizza has roles with a whole bunch of people with the intelligence community between campuses through time, involved with building upon predicate acts with facts at Weathersfield campuses that people from Central Connecticut State University had since I was a kid. They're putting fake ties and fake natures of ties to people. And they're putting roles with the names on all sides of criminal civil cases in the interbranch at the same time, and the exceptions tied to them. Two, with delusions that we could show everyone that we'll learn this. You have to deal with reality properly and honestly and sanely, because our founders left us to communicate about how they had to entertain things and pretend things even about. In other words, their communications was greater than and more finite than what they said. And what they said they communicated to have us demonstrated was being used by a breaching method that was measuring and maintaining if people weren't collusion syntactically with what hurt others, therefore prevented unity, and with force simultaneously, natures of unity that couldn't be defended, and the nature of independence, the syntax needed to bring it. Free speech. Someone must teach. So the news and the difference of their uses of their predicate acts. They use wire crime acts and methods with people who answer the phone. Oh, I don't know, and they hide things that the mandated law says they're not supposed to hide, like fake conversations with people that they're at the same time about the World Trade Center. At the same time, they force the principal child abuser this way, putting fake motivations. So the intelligence community at the buildings next to Fox Connecticut News is also involved with them, as the people involved with the names next to the WTNH and WFSB. And next to WTNH is the FBI. Whole bunch of people tied to Fred Grisette, who's recorded involved with private school kids, who plant evidences with kids in public schools who don't even know each other, and they pretend other. And if you, in some context, they have to pretend they know you. In some context, they don't. They're not legitimately using and having used the right to lie, and having pretended they need to pretend their integrity when they are not. Our founders told us to get them nature that cares, to get them free, not to pretend to be free. So they have criminally foreign influence readings of statutes and precedents, self-valued roles, because they're used remotely where they think. Hey, fix the fake news. So they have also roles with there are proofs that there were stories about pamphlets dropped out, hateful pamphlets dropped out in Wethersfield. That's tied to the ones there's ones with the name Kolvinskis. I don't know which school. I don't think he even went to my grammar school. But a Kolvinskis, he has a brother I never met. I don't know if he has a sister or any other brothers. I never met their parents, but they have roles. They said with their neighbor too, Greg Monday. I don't know the Greg Monday. I never had class with Greg Monday either. And they're involved with people with whiting forensics, and people with the name Joshua Schumack. And there was a Mr. Hagenbart involved as a football coach who has roles with foreign and domestic intelligence and medical community with identity theft, frauds, federal evidences, crimes with overt criminal enterprises, private ones too. Whole bunch of people tied to a Jonathan Maiano, involved with sequence shifts with a Ray Cololo and a Rick C.M. Faglione and a O'Brien family with the intelligence community and with Maianos. I never saw Maiano and them together. In other words, they put a fake instance and fake motivations of why they like me or don't through time. And I don't even, in other words, these are the people that are involved with the wire crime action methods of the police forms with the Wethersfield Police, other police departments and other police forms at the same time. And as their roles, these are people involved with the family members of judges and of prosecutors who have been, while used remotely, needing to, they're shown needs to make fake instances of knowing people and some at the same time make it consciously, preemptively, and out of sequence in the past. So people can't go back and be honestly about the things. So there are a whole bunch of probate court judges and their family members involved with Two Route Highway and where it runs into Hangdog Lane. And these are also people involved with New Britain Superior Court, Hartford Courts, and Connecticut District Court, and people on all the state judicial branches, so all the courts, and uses of them roles with all that comes before them, collusions, and with their delusions that we have to have mandated law to follow for that too. But we have to have mandated law followed. These are people involved with the elderly homes and programs and with the children's stewardships at the same time. Further on all sides of the community center, these are people that have roles with, specifically I noted this with the different subjects, they have criminally foreign influence uses of tricks with facts, with fake ties and natures of ties between people. Like they use leading up to the World Trade Center attack, relative. I never had a conversation verbally with Dan Keene in my life. Never had a class with him. Never was around him. People involved with attaching me and him and his family to fake and to change natures of ties to themselves and ties to themselves. And with their neighbors, further involved with the state judicial branch offices, which is right there, and conjunctions to it. Weathersfield Pizza has wire crimes with them and the Weathersfield Police and the other police forms involved, and the courts involved with these wire crime acts and methods. So fear God and get on paper one name and sequence, because more bug spray and other poisons and fake motivations for it roles are threats with guns and knives, fake motivations, sequence shifts. These are intercultural fakes too, where they use their difference, where it's thematically applied as their fakes. They use the right to lie as a summary of the law, but they don't have the right to lie. Like with a guy reportedly named James Comey, who's one of the ones with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, former standing chairperson of the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, involved with a whole bunch of names leading up to the World Trade Center attack in that context and since, with all sides, and then since with predicate acts too. They forced the same Saudis to collusions with them since too. Fear. This is how it's relative to where now there are conscious uses of the difference between the people who attack the religions and the religions as the ones preventing the first parts of their book from being discerned. And atheists aren't speaking for science. So they have roles with the border issues and the types of police forms and the people with the intelligence agencies, the universities, the best universities and colleges and the worst ones. And the difference of that is also used consciously by the breaching method. That was sophistication here before our founders were born. Fear. Romulus.